Hello, everyone. I'm Dustin. I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XY anime discussion. Today's topic will primarily be about the Pokemon Showcase, but we will discuss a little bit of the Pokeball Factory. And unfortunately, I don't think there's any new information in regards to the upcoming episodes, but I will discuss a little bit more on them when we get to them. So anyway, let's jump into the discussion of the Pokeball Factory. It was a pretty basic episode. It wasn't too horrible, but it wasn't all that good because one of the things that I'm disappointed, as you probably have already guessed, is that Pikachu is not recalled into its Pokeball. I don't know why there couldn't be a moment where Ash had his other Pokemon and then Pikachu was recalled, and because you can't, the writers can't tease us like that. We actually haven't seen Pikachu being recalled in its Pokeball since basically the first episode when it wasn't even recalled and it was just sent out. But we still don't know what Pikachu's reaction to a Pokeball. We've only assumed, based on what Pikachu has said, that it doesn't like its Pokeball. Who knows? Maybe it was just exaggerating at a time because all of a sudden it was like in Pallet Town or whatever, and Oak threw a Pokeball at it, or however it showed up in Pokemon Yellow. That might have been what the case was in the anime, of how Pikachu may not actually might like the Pokeball. We don't know. We haven't seen anything. I don't know if Pikachu is recalled in the first movie. It would make sense because of everything that happened during that movie. But I'm not really sure how much that much counts, but there is the first movie possibility. But I'm a little disappointed that Pikachu wasn't recalled. And thankfully, and I probably could have made a video on this, but my fears were remedied about Pikachu and Meowth being the only, as well as Team Rocket's Pokemon being introduced, or the only Pokemon within the anime, all the Pokemon that everyone had. Although I'm not sure about Pumpkaboo, but I think Pumpkaboo showed up at one point. Maybe. But basically, all the Pokemon of the main cast did show up. Granted, it was at the very end, and basically a throwaway scene, but they at least appeared, and they checked to make sure everyone was okay, so at least we had that. We didn't at least get that in the Dream Thief episode in Best Wishes, which probably would have been nice if they at least tested to make sure their Pokemon were okay. Like in this particular episode, apparently in Best Wishes, Ash, Iris, and Silent didn't care about their Pokemon. At least in this generation, they actually care about their Pokemon. Okay? Just mostly joking, but still. A little weird that this is actually the case of... They actually do... Whatever, you get what I'm saying. Other than that, it was pretty basic, and there was really not a lot I can talk about. Basically, it was okay, there were some interesting, funny moments of Pikachu and Meowth being spray painted to look like Pokeballs and being squashed into a Pokeball, and then the funniest thing probably that I can remember is when Pikachu avoided being recalled because there's all that smoke and it went into the air duct or air vent or whatever, and then it came out, and then Pikachu was like trying to Iron Tail the door, and then they like hear things. What's going on? And then they look, and then they see Pikachu sitting there, and it's that long pause. I love those long pauses in shows and movies. One of my favorite long pauses involves the television show Monk with Adrian Monk when he was next to a guy that he just met, and his wife died, and Monk could relate to that. And there was a funny moment where he said, could you reach into my pants? And there was this long pause. I thought something happened because I was watching it on like Netflix or Hulu or online or something of that nature, or satellite, and I thought that the connection was broken. But no, it was a long pause, and then Monk was like, finally said, yes, and then it was hilarious. But anyway, back to Pokemon. The thing was, there's this long pause, they were just staring at there, and then all of a sudden Team Rocket was like, oh, what's going on? There's two Pikachu! But then they realized that Pikachu avoided being caught, or whatever. So yeah, there's all that. That was hilarious. Okay. But that's pretty much it. I think we need to go away from that particular discussion and move on to the Pokemon Showcase, which is the focus of today's video. So in the previews, okay, in relation to that picture that I showed you in the other one when I was discussing the showcase that had Serena, Braixen, and Pancham, I was wrong. Based to the quality, it seemed like Braixen was top of something, and my best speculation was that she was like stomping grapes, possibly, or fruit or berries for the poffin, kind of like how you make wine, I believe, or juice or something like that, where the whole vat of water and grapes and you just squash it. Kind of like that, but that was not the case at all. It was actually a perspective problem, and this happens when you're watching 2D cartoons. You can't really see very well, but the clear view of it in the preview makes it clear what it was. Braixen wasn't on top of anything like the picture that I showed you kind of implied. It was just that she was further away in a different area doing whatever. So yeah, that's what it was going on. So in the preview we see some really nice pretty things. It's really hard to discuss what happened in the preview except talking about the characters and stuff. Speaking of which, there are some interesting characters that are actually going to show up in the Pokemon Showcase episode in some fashion or another, like Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor. They're most likely going to be in it from watching TV and watching Serena. You know, I'm sure they all are aware, especially Shauna, of what happened in regards to oh no. Okay, so let's see. I actually have to go somewhere else. But anyway, yeah, Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor are going to be in this particular episode in some fashion. And as I'm trying to say, they'll probably be watching TV, and they should all be aware of what happened to Serena the first time. Even though Tierno didn't mention it in that Sliggoo evolving into Gooder episode, but basically, yeah. They'll probably be watching Serena's TV debut, or the watch on TV. Someone mentioned a great point that if Shauna was going to actually be in the episode, then she probably would be in the Pokemon Showcase, and it appears that she is not. So anyway, I've got the VA list here. There's Miette. And by the way, Miette is, let's see, Miette had a voice actress who I think had some stress issues or something, and she retired from voice acting. At least as far as I'm aware, I'm not really sure on the circumstances. So Miette does have a new voice actress, if you're actually curious about that. I don't really talk about that, but I thought it was just interesting. If you know anything about Pokemon XY anime discussion, and you know, so yeah, she does have a new voice actress or whatever. So let's move on. Grace, Serena's mom, is going to be in the episode in some fashion, probably watching her video phone conference, or she might actually show up, even though I probably would have seen her in the audience. But she's going to show up in some fashion or another. Jenna, I think, is just a character that's going to be within the episode. I don't know if Jenna doesn't look like it's a Pokemon because the names were translated here. So I think Jenna is probably just a competitor, probably one of Serena's competitors within the episode or something of that nature, or maybe I'm completely forgetting. But just to check, let me actually look it up here. I don't think Jenna is Nini or whatever. Her name, Nini. Yeah, I don't think it's Nini. So, oh yeah, Gina or whatever is the Pokepuff maker judge that was in that Battle by Any Other Name. I knew she was in that episode because I remember people talking about it, but I didn't know her dub name, which is Jenna, I think, or Gina. I don't know. I don't know how people would pronounce their names. Like I said, I haven't even seen that episode. I've been meaning to watch that episode, by the way, the Pokepuff episode, just so I can get used to Miette. So yeah, she's the judge, the Puff contest judge that happened in that one. So anyway, like I said, Tierno, Sean, and Trevor are going to be in there. Professor Sycamore is going to be in the episode in some fashion or another. Not sure why. Maybe Tierno, Shauna, and Trevor are visiting Professor Sycamore and they decided to watch the Pokemon Showcase and watch Serena or something of that nature. Arya is going to be in the episode as well. So she'll probably be watching it. Or she might actually do her Kalos Queen duties and do an introductory sort of thing, but she'll probably be watching Serena because we all saw it happening. So maybe we'll see a lot of characters rooting for Serena, and this is sort of looking like Serena is going to win. So then we have, of course, Monsieur Pierre, who's the host of the Pokemon Showcases. And then we have a male Meowstic, which I will discuss in just a moment as I discuss other things within the preview. There was one thing in the beginning, the first preview, not the Get TV preview, but the first preview that aired after the Pokeball Factory, and I want to discuss it a little bit because it's interesting. Basically, what happens is Pancham jumps, and then Pancham's foot lands in Serena's hand, and then Serena lifts Pancham into the air, and then basically the next shot is Pancham throwing pink sparkles. And as far as I know, there is no move that looks like that. I mean, that Pancham can learn anyway. My best guess would probably be, well, I don't know. I don't know if there's any like pink powder type moves. I know there is a 4th or 5th gen move that like Raging Powder, but I'm pretty sure we can basically guarantee that Pancham can't learn it. So it's interesting. I don't know if that's a move or not that Pancham learned or whatever, but if it's not a move, I'm speculating that it's just pink sparkles that Pancham has in its hand it's just going to throw. But if it is a move, I'm actually interested to know what it is. I know Pancham can learn like Parting Shot, which is a move that I think basically only Pancham line can learn, or at least it's well known for the Pancham line, but I'm not sure if that would make sense of it being Parting Shot. Yeah, it's the Pancham evolutionary line that can learn it. I don't know if it makes any sense. Let's see. With a Parting Threat, the user lowers the attack and then switches to the part. I'm not really sure if it would make any sense for it to be Parting Shot. But that would probably be my only guess at this particular point. Just looking at its moveset right now, there's like really nothing jumping out at me that would be that pink powdery thing that we see. Nothing in the Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, moveset, move tutors. Looks like... So I don't know what it is. I could learn Spore, no, sorry, that was Snore. I thought I could learn Spore at first, but it's actually Snore, so I don't think it's Snore. Yeah, like I said, I'm not really sure. I'm not seeing anything that would make any sense, so my best guess, if it had to be anything, would be Parting Shot. That would be the only thing I could think of. It could be Entrainment, I guess, but that would be weird representation of Entrainment. Because because it's a dancing move, so that would be weird for Pancham to use it like that. But whatever. I don't think it's Work Up because I imagine that's just angrily stomping the ground and stuff of that nature. So I'm not really sure if it's a move. I don't know what it could be. I don't want to guess of moves it can't learn because I'm already annoyed that Scotty Slurpuff can learn or has Electro Ball. So anyway, let's continue on. Like I said, it's an interesting moment. I think it's just Pancham just throwing pink powder, but if it's a move, I have no idea what it would be. Also, I'm a little confused as to why Honedge is being shown in Pokemon Showcases. I feel like I don't know if this is like implying that maybe Ash won't get a Honedge. And he'll get something else, which will be very confusing as to what he'll get. Honedge was basically Ash's best type choice that he could get. Bergmite wasn't that good of a choice. As much as I love Phantom, that wasn't a good choice, especially with Wolfric on the way, and then Skiddo has the same issue as Fantub, though Fantub did offer a little bit more than Skiddo does. Maybe not move-wise, maybe Skiddo would probably have better moves to use against Wolfric, but in terms of typing itself, Fantub probably would have been a little bit better choice. Thinking of else, there's nothing else popping out. Honedge was probably Ash's best choice for a type. Now, because the thing is, I would have expected Litleo to show up by now, and it's a little concerning that Litleo hasn't shown up. I do not think they're going to give Ash a Litleo, and I'm really afraid that they're just going to. And I feel like Litleo would have made far more sense to use than Honedge. Speaking of which, the other competitor that was next to Serena during that shot, that trainer has Lickitung. Just wanted to make that note, just so you know. But I'm a little concerned as to why Serena, or Serena's competitor, has a Honedge in Pokemon Showcases. Those aren't Pokemon that I can see making any sense in Pokemon Showcases at all. You know, even if Honedge has access to possibly a lot of cool moves like Sacred Sword and Iron Head and stuff, and maybe can do some pretty dazzling appeals and stuff, it just doesn't really make any sense for why it's in Pokemon Showcases, because if Honedge is available, then any Pokemon would be available for Pokemon Showcases, which kind of throws off my Pokemon speculation. But anyway, little confused why Honedge is being there. Speaking of which, I did mention a male Meowstic, and based on the second Get TV preview, even though it's not absolutely confirmed, it seems likely that the Meowstic belongs to Miette. There we go. I was going to say Serena, but then I'm like, wait, no, that's not right. It's Miette. Seems like she has the Meowstic, but it's not absolutely confirmed. It could be something else. It could be some other Pokemon that Miette has. We definitely didn't see Miette with any other Pokemon within the preview. We didn't see her Slurpuff at all in the preview, now that I think about it. So it's a little concerning about what it's going to be, Miette. So it looks like Miette might indeed have a Meowstic, and a male version at that. And I'll show a picture that happened in the preview because it's really nice. Male Meowstic. As much as I would love female Meowstic, the male Meowstic, in my opinion, is better designed. I just don't like the pure white, bluish colors that the female Meowstic has. I like the mostly blue and white streaks of Meowstic because it makes the design look a little bit better. With the female Meowstic, it's just like, okay, that's its color scheme. But male Meowstic actually looks like it has some sort of story behind its design. You know, male Meowstic is like, its design would be something you would see like in a temple or something that might have a little color. You'll see male Meowstic pattern design, and you'd be like, well, that's interesting. Wonder where that came from. Female Meowstic is just so basically bleached with a few colors of blue that it would probably just be a subjective preference issue. If you like female Meowstic, that's perfectly fine. I'm just saying, to me, just seeing that male Meowstic within the actual preview made me realize how much I like male Meowstic in comparison to female Meowstic. Because I just think male Meowstic just has better colors. You know, I can appreciate the concept of female Meowstic being the attacker. I kind of like that a little bit, but just the design doesn't really sit well with me. So it's possible that the male Meowstic belongs to Miette. And as we're seeing, basically Game Freak kind of screwed the anime over in not having a lot of Pokemon, because we're seeing these Pokemon frequently and over. The only thing that we can say that we're good for, at least right now, is thankfully, for the most part, the Pokemon that belong to the main cast aren't being shoved repeatedly, because I think we've already seen female Meowstic and male Meowstic before. In fact, I think there was that sibling episode where they had male and female Meowstic then. Ash, I believe, saw a female Meowstic in the first XY episode, and then there may have been other instances where Meowstic has been used. Now we have a male Meowstic with Miette, and we're getting like a double battle Meowstic when we get to Olympia. So as you can see, the repetitive usage of 6th Gen Pokemon is getting kind of annoying, and it squarely is blamed on Game Freak for only introducing basically 32 Pokemon lines. Not 32 Pokemon, because there's like 69 or 71 Pokemon that were actually introduced, but only 32 Pokemon lines that the writers have to work with. You know, do they use Spupa or no, Scatterbug or Spupa or Vivian, or do they use all three of them in an episode? Diggersby, Bunnelby, you know, there's not a lot of Pokemon lines out there, and there's only 32 different Pokemon lines from like Froakie line, Fennekin line, and stuff, and then there's the Pokemon that they evolve into. There isn't a lot of choices, you know. I'm almost expecting we're going to see Goomy and Sliggoo and Goodra in the future, being used by other trainers, and it's just going to get annoying because it's like they have no choice but to use them, even though past gen Pokemon are being used. So I don't know if Miette being Serena's rival is the reason why Miette has a Meowstic, but it's kind of ridiculous that all these other characters that are introduced in 6th Gen have these different Pokemon. You know, Shauna, I believe, well, no, she has Flabébé, Bulbasaur, Gothita. I believe she has a Gothita, for crying out loud, and that's not a 6th Gen Pokemon. Tierno has pretty much all past gen Pokemon. In fact, just thinking about it, I don't think there's any Pokemon that he has that has 6th Gen Pokemon. Although it would be very funny if he did end up getting a Barbicle, because a beatboxing, dancing, or whatever Barbicle would be hilarious to see. You know, like a chill Barbicle, you know, crossing its arm and being all like cool. That would be kind of a funny Barbicle, having like sunglasses. You know, that would be an amazing thing to see. So, and it would fit his mostly water predominant typing that he seems to have with Politoed, Ludicolo, Wartortle, and stuff. But anyway, there's not a lot to discuss. I'm just kind of annoyed that it's like there are few Pokemon that haven't shown up yet that are 6th Gen relating, and yet they haven't decided to use them, and yet when they decide to use a 6th Gen Pokemon, it's something that we've already seen to death. Just, I watched the Meowth and Bonnie being tied episode, and there's all that Pangoro there, even though we've had Pangoro in a couple of other episodes. So it's kind of annoying to see the same Pokemon over and over again, especially when in this generation they have access to all of the Pokemon they can. I mean, Serena's other competitor has a Lickitung, and we're finally seeing Honedge in an awkward way, just in a throwaway scene of a competitor of Serena. Serena's likely going to win, so, well, we saw Honedge for like a second. Whoop-de-doo, right? You know? So it's kind of annoying to see that we're seeing all these Pokemon, like Meowstic. We've already seen the brother siblings or whatever that had the 2 Meowstic, and we're definitely going to show up with 2 Meowstic when we reach Olympia, which is likely going to be a double battle based on the preview of her having both male and female Meowstic. So that definitely implies that it's going to be a double battle. So why does Miette need a Meowstic, you know? Litleo would have made a little bit more sense. I mean, it's a cat-related Pokemon like Meowstic, only more of a wild cat or a large cat, big cat type of cat, but still a feline type Pokemon, and it's a fire type, and it would help in making Pokepuffs, I believe, or something of that nature. Granted, Meowstic is more humanoid than Litleo, so Litleo might not have very many uses. So, but then again, whatever. I'm not really sure what they decide. But anyway, I'm just kind of annoyed that we're seeing all these 6th Gen Pokemon over and over and over again. And it's like Game Freak is to blame because they didn't introduce a lot of Pokemon. I'm hoping when 7th Gen comes out, there's going to at least be 100 Pokemon. At least 100 Pokemon. I think that should be the minimum amount of new Pokemon introduced each generation is 100, because 6th gen or 5th gen introduced the most Pokemon with 153 Pokemon, and there was a lot of choices, and the designs were kind of not as good as the other generations, and it may have suffered. And maybe the reason why 6th gen is my favorite is by design is because there isn't very many Pokemon. But basically, there could have been easily more Pokemon introduced in 6th gen, and as well as moves. No new Dragon moves were introduced, and there needed to be more Dragon-type moves. And if I'm not mistaken, there was only one, well, I don't want to say ground-type move, but there was only one particular type move that was introduced. Like, I think it was ice, and I think it was the refrigerate, no, not the refrigerate, freezing, dry freezing thing that that's super effective against water types. I think that was the only new ice type that was introduced in this generation. And it's like they had so long to develop this game that I don't know if it was because of the transition between the 2D spriting that up to 5th gen had, and they were trying to translate that into the 3DS modeling that the X and Y introduced. I don't know if that was the difference or whatever, but hopefully they're used to it, that they can introduce a lot more new Pokemon, because this generation has been lacking. It's like all the Pokemon that Ash could capture, basically there's only a few Pokemon that we can choose, and one of them is going to be right, unless of course it's a Mega Evolution Pokemon or a past gen Pokemon that has absolutely nothing to do with Mega Evolution. So yeah, it's a little concerning that there just isn't a lot of Pokemon, and me having Meowstic and Scotty having Slurpuff is showing why we're having a problem here, that Serena getting an Eevee, it might as well evolve into a past-gen Pokemon, because we've already seen Sylveon to death. It's like they have to use these Pokemon, but then they're like, oh wait, but then this gym leader has that particular Pokemon. Oh, but then the main character, we're going to give him or her this particular Pokemon. Well, uh-oh, we kind of made a mistake here. And we are, like, Pancham has already shown up before Serena caught her Pancham, and even though it's not Ash, and Ash is an exception, it's still kind of weird, you know, that we are getting all these weird things happening because there just isn't a lot of Pokemon here. So, basically, yeah. So I guess that covers the showcase. I don't think there was anything interesting else in the showcase. In the previews, there. I don't know why Jessie is dressed up all weird like, but yeah, she's weird, and you're gonna see it. But basically, she's throwing those like tomato berries, I believe, those spicy chili pepper / tomato looking berries, and she's just throwing them in the air. And I assume Meowth is going to be there. I think in the preview, Meowth had a different design as well. I think Meowth was wearing something. Maybe something like a masquerade type clothing. You know, he's like wearing a mask and stuff, like Phantom of the Opera type clothing or whatever. I'm not really sure. Maybe. I don't know if I'll be able to get a screenshot of that, but I'll definitely show you Jessie's design, which is hilarious looking. So I think that's pretty much it for the showcase. To discuss the other episodes, like I said, there's just no new information, which is one of the reasons why I've been able to make any videos and upload them, because there just hasn't been a lot of content. So after the Pokemon Showcase is the Rotom's Wish episode, I believe. No new information about that. We'll get the VA list really soon, hopefully. On Wednesday, at least, U.S. time, probably like very early Thursday. No, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to be Wednesday, probably. We'll get a VA list for the Rotom episode. Maybe we'll get a summaries for that episode. And my speculation that I have made before is still holding true. I'm gonna believe this Marshall guy or Mattel guy, Mantle. Is it Mantle? Mantle. Mantle is going to be the owner of Rotom, and he lost it due to gambling in the past or whatever. And he grew up betting, having people bet their Pokemon and stuff, and that's going to be the main plot of the episode. And Ash is going to travel through time, and he's going to get Rotom, and then he's going to save Rotom, and then Rotom and Mantle are going to be together. And then basically that'll be the end of the episode, and Mantle will change his ways. This is my best speculation based on what we know. After the Rotom episode is, of course, Jesse's Pumpkaboo Evolution episode, the Gurgais Festival Farewell Pumpkaboo. Nothing a little bit different. One interesting speculation that I think I've mentioned before, or someone else mentioned before, or at least as a result of what I said, regardless of what happens in this episode, I believe Jessie is getting Gurgeist. Even if it's not her Pumpkaboo evolving and keeping her Gurgeist, she's getting Gurgeist in some fashion or another. One speculation has her releasing her Pumpkaboo but getting another Gurgeist, or her trading Pumpkaboo for another Pumpkaboo and getting that Gurgeist. But regardless of what happens, she is getting Gurgeist. Hopefully, because it is Farewell Pumpkaboo and it's relating to Team Rocket, hopefully we'll see the evolution on screen. Unlike basically what happened with Team Rocket's Coughing and Arbok, no, not Arbok, Ekans, sorry, Coughing and Ekans, when they basically evolved and we didn't actually see their evolution. They just basically evolved, and next time we saw those Pokemon, they were Arbok and Weezing. So there's that. Then after that is the Mamoswine and Abomasnow episode. Again, no summaries have been released, or the Defender guy from Cerebi is not updating the first post, but I haven't really looked at the end of the conversations yet because I just wanted to see really quickly to make a video on it. But if there's any information, I will definitely be making a video. So as for times, since I've been neglecting that, this Thursday in a few days is going to be the Pokemon Showcase, which will be, July 2nd. After that, July 9th will be the Rotom episode. Then after that will be the Diancie movie playing on TV Tokyo, so there will be a Pokemon movie break happening, and then after that will be the Pumpkaboo episode, which will air on July 23rd, and then July 30th will be the Mamoswine and Abomasnow episode. After that, like I said before, because of the Pikachu and Noibat Sky Relay special, as well as the movie, I expect there to be 2 breaks coming up, even though we have no information on that at all, but expect 2 breaks to happen to make up for that, unless, of course, Naruto doesn't care. I don't know what's going on with Naruto, but basically that's the case. So I expect there may be a break on August 6th, and maybe probably sometime in September, although I'm not really sure. We have no idea when there will be a break or if there will be a break at all, but I expect there to be a break because of the Pikachu Noibat Hour special, as well as the Diancie movie playing during that particular time slot. So unless, of course, Pokemon is unless TV Tokyo doesn't care what happens to Naruto and they can get all the breaks that they can afford. Well, regardless, I do expect there to be breaks coming soon. I'm a little afraid of why July 23rd or July 30th isn't a break. I mean, July 23rd makes sense because that's the Pumpkaboo episode, but July 30th? I'm not entirely sure why that isn't a break, but basically I expect breaks to happen any really time soon. So outside of that, there's not a lot to discuss. If you really want me to make more videos, you're going to have to make suggestions in the comment section below, as I've said, because I'm running out of things to discuss, and as far as I'm aware, the only way that I could make discussions is if I talk about the other generations, and I'm not really wanting to do that unless someone really wants me to discuss the other generations. So anyway, Thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.